The man at the center of Italy's most heartbreaking recent events, Matteo Messina Denaro, has been on the run from law since June 1993. He's considered to have been the mastermind behind the massacres of judges Paolo Borsellino and Giovanni Falcone in 1992, and behind deadly bombings in Rome, Milan and Florence in the spring of 1993. With hundreds of people and millions of euro being spent to catch him, Matteo Messina Denaro is the most important and elusive mafia fugitive, the last Cosa Nostra boss still at large. Born on April 26, 1962, in Castelvetrano in southwest Sicily, Messina Denaro grew up in the heart of organized crime. His father, Don Ciccio, was the head of the local clan, and his godfather, who attended his baptism, was also a member of the mob. His first run-ins with the law began in 1989 when he took part in a bloody struggle between two clans. Messina Denaro is a fan of Rolex watches, designer clothes, comic books and video games, and has a reputation as a playboy. He was once featured on an Italian magazine cover in dark glasses, looking like a rock star, but his list of victims is long and the crimes he is accused of are horrific. Mobster killed enough people to fill a small cemetery. Few would recognize Matteo Messina Denaro on the street, but the Cosa Nostra leader is one of the most sought-after fugitives on the planet. His reign of terror amped up in 1993, after authorities tracked down and arrested Sicilian Mafia boss Salvatore Toto Riina, who had spent 23 years on the lam, in Palermo, Italy. Soon after, his protege Denaro allegedly played a key role in making sure there would be hell to pay for the pinch. A precociously violent baby killer who learned to use a gun at the age of 14, according to Dice, Denaro allegedly assumed the Godfather mantle in 2007, following the arrest of previous leader Bernardo Provenzano. Denaro is a handsome ladies' man, whose tinted shades hide slightly crossed feline eyes. He is said to be worth billions, favors fancy wristwatches, owns a pack of Porsches and strictly avoids the camera lens. Homicide, arson and terrorism. He's even earned the nickname Diabolik, ripped from an unscrupulous Italian comic book criminal. It's a role that Denaro, 58, was born to play. His father, a high-ranking mafioso, handed him over to Riina for a bloody apprenticeship that began around his 18th birthday. Denaro quickly established himself as a reliable foot soldier with a penchant for murder. Riina loved him, said Dice. Denaro was told to kill and he killed. With a scary reputation that keeps people in line, when authorities arrested Denaro's girlfriend and sister, they both did their time and stayed mum about Diabolik. He's said to masterfully manage a core mob business. The UK Daily Mirror describes Denaro as the mastermind of heroin and cocaine importation into Europe from South America. Mafia boss Matteo Messina Denaro used coded message system based on farm animals to give orders. A mafia boss used an archaic secret code to pass messages down to his lieutenants, Italian police said. Matteo Messina Denaro used a coded message system that uses farming terms, officers announced in the wake of a dawn raid that led to 11 arrests. Police and prosecutors claim the men are key figures in the Sicilian Mafia and were working for Denaro, who has been on the run since 1993. The coded messages were reportedly written on tiny scraps of paper called pizzini, which are secreted in remote places and destroyed after they are read. The Italian media says he allegedly used phrases such as "the sheep need shearing" and "I've put the ricotta cheese aside for you" to let them know he had a new message. According to Gazzetta del Sud, the code words for his closest allies are pigs, beans and even fertilizer. The arrests were made in a dawn operation between Palermo and Trapani, with suspects ranging in age from 27 to 77. How did he evade capture for so long? Messina Denaro disappeared from public view in the middle of 1993, beginning what would be 30 years on the run from accusations including mafia association, murder, theft and possession of explosives. In 1994 and 1996, statements from mobsters who later acted as state witnesses shed some light on his role within the Cosa Nostra. In 2000, after what is known as the Maxi trial against the Sicilian Mafia in Trapani, which convicted hundreds of defendants, He was sentenced in absentia to life imprisonment. As a wanted man, Denaro managed his affairs by communicating under the pseudonym Alessio through the Pizzini system, in which messages were left on tiny bits of paper. His whereabouts and activities during that time were the subject of intense rumors, including that he had had plastic surgery to change his appearance. He had many sources of revenue, from drug trafficking to gambling, both in Italy and abroad. In 2015, an Italian prosecutor on his trail, Teresa Principato, said he had likely eluded capture for so long because he was protected at a very high level. She did not say whether this meant Cosa Nostra, politicians or institutions. We have confirmation of his presence in Brazil, Spain, Britain, Austria, she told Il Fatto Quotidiano Daily at the time. He travels for extremely high-level business, and his return to Sicily is irregular and increasingly infrequent. In 2020, several of Messina Denaro's collaborators were arrested, tightening the net around the boss. And in October that year, he was again sentenced in absentia for his role in Falcone's murder. How mafia boss was he captured? The arrest of Cosa Nostra mob boss Matteo Messina Denaro at a private health clinic in Palermo on Monday stunned many around the world due to the extraordinary length of time he'd been on the run, but came as little surprise for some who watched the mafia more closely. Whispers of his failing health had been circulating in Sicily for months, with hints of a deal to bring him back to the surface to get better cancer care. When officers asked him his name, he chose not to use his alias, Andrea Bonafede. Palermo prosecutor Maurizio De Lucia told reporters. "I am Matteo Messina Denaro," he said instead, likely the first time he had uttered those words in public in the 30 years he was on the run. Messina Denaro, who is being held in a maximum security prison in L'Aquila in central Italy, did not appear via video link for a trial hearing Thursday, over the 1992 killings of anti-mafia prosecutors Giovanni Falcone and Paolo Borsellino, leaving his lawyer to attend on his behalf. Carabinieri General Pasquale Angelo Santo, who heads the police force's Special Operations Squad, said Messina Denaro's health helped investigators zero in on him. The fugitive was taken into custody while at a medical center. It all led to today's date, when he would have come for some tests and treatment at the clinic, Angelo Santo said on Monday. Authorities did not say what he was being treated for, but he was captured at La Maddalena Clinic in Palermo, an upscale medical facility with a reputation for treating cancer patients, and Italian media said he has been undergoing treatment for a year. During an evening news conference, authorities said Messina Denaro's treatment could continue at a hospital prison ward. Investigators said he was unarmed and dressed like a typical patient at the clinic, although wearing a watch worth at least €30,000, about $33,000. He didn't resist at all, Carabinieri Colonel Lucio Arcidiacono told reporters. Messina Denaro will now face a series of criminal trials. Though he was tried in absentia on a number of charges, Italian criminal cases all pass through 3 levels, ending with the High Court signing off. Criminals can only be tried in absentia in the first degree, meaning his cases will now pass through appellate and High Court trials. He will be represented by his niece Lorenza Guttadaro, the daughter of his sister Rosalia, who passed the Italian equivalent of the bar exam in 2011. The next hearing in the anti-mafia prosecutor's case is scheduled for March 9th. And who is the new boss of bosses? Police have not named any suspected successor. But in Saviano's opinion, Messina Denaro will still rule until he dies, like Rina and Provenzano before him. Unless he decides to repent, Matteo Messina Denaro, even locked up, will continue to be the king of the Cosa Nostra because no one is ready to sit on the throne that he left only half empty, he said. So what's next for the Cosa Nostra? Despite its fame as a powerful and ruthless crime syndicate, the mafia has been struggling for years. In the lucrative drugs market, it has been supplanted by the 'Ndrangheta, an organization based in the Calabria region in southern Italy. Though the mafia does retain control of Sicily and some parts of the economy, Anna Sergi, an organized crime expert at Essex University, said, Messina Denaro was the last godfather. He represented all the secrets of Cosa Nostra. It is the end of a myth and the organization will have to cope with this. If you liked the video, you can watch the others on our channel and also subscribe so you don't miss the next videos.